Welcome to Intelligent Automation Radio, the number one podcast for IT executives seeking insights on the impact and opportunities for innovation that automation is delivering to businesses around the world. Featuring thought leaders in AI, machine learning, orchestration, security automation, and the future of work. And now, on with the show. Welcome, everyone. My name is Guy Nadivi, and I'm the host of Intelligent Automation Radio. Our guest on today's episode is Ritu Jyoti from IDC. For those of you who are unfamiliar, IDC is a global provider of intelligence and advisory services for the IT, telecom, and consumer technology markets, and they employ over 1,100 analysts worldwide to figure out trends and opportunities in over 110 countries. Now, Ritu is a program vice president at IDC, and she recently co-authored a report which caught our attention because it examines the use of artificial intelligence in digital transformations. So we've invited Ritu to come on the show and share with our audience some of the very interesting insights she and her colleagues published in that report. Ritu, welcome to Intelligent Automation Radio.
Thank you, guys. My utmost pleasure to join the session today.
Ritu, you've talked about the speed at which artificial intelligence functions and that it's faster than the blink of an eye. And you actually point out that the time it typically takes to blink your eye, on average, is 300 milliseconds, while the time it takes for AI to detect fraudulent credit card activity is only 40 to 60 milliseconds. I think this might be a good example of what you've described as AI's ability to, quote, accelerate time to insight. Can you please elaborate about accelerating time to insight and why that's something that should make IT executives and business leaders want to deploy AI?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fun trivia also in terms of, the difference between 300 milliseconds of a blink of an eye and a 40 to 60. I just enjoy that data point. So it's basically, guys, an era of digital transformation, and digital disruption is real. If you look at, the average company lifespan on the S&P 500 index in the third platform era, the era which we characterize by cloud, social, mobile, and big data technologies, starting in 2005, is 18 years. But when you compare it to the first platform era, which was characterized by the mainframe, the average lifespan was 61 years. So you can see the contrast and the difference there. And IDC has done the research, and it shows that organizations across every industry, they're under threat. And the average percentage of traditional revenues that are at the risk of disruption and digital transformation era, it varies from about 11% for hospitality to about 29% for utilities. And as we all know, data underpins digital transformation. And folks are using digital transformation to balance their business objectives between tactical and strategic objectives, whether it is improvement in operational efficiencies, reducing risk and penalties, increasing existing product revenue. And if you look into all of this, timely access to insights is crucial to enable all these business objectives. In today's world, if you see data is being increasingly distributed, it's stored at the edge, it's on premises, it's on the cloud, it's very dynamic in nature, and also diverse. Gone are the days when we just had structured data. Now we have a lot of unstructured content, we have semi-structured data, and with such huge volumes in distributed data sets, it's humanly impossible for us to serve through piles of data to gain timely insights. And leveraging AI, one can address the time to insights need. Also, data quality is important for AI algorithms' trustworthiness, and AI algorithms are being used to dynamically create data validation checks and improve the quality. I'll give you a very small example with just recently Microsoft Azure capability was announced. If you see there are over 800 million people who use mobile applications each day, and they have an increasing amount of reliance on the mobile banking app. And with this rate of mobile banking adoption, mobile device fraud has inevitably increased as well. And to detect the fraudulent transactions has become all the more important. And just 2 weeks back, Microsoft developed a mobile banking fraud detection architecture, which actually uses artificial intelligence to spot fraudulent transactions. And it is using a combination of Azure cloud services. So it's a long and a very important juncture that we are at, where getting timely insights can help us in meeting all the DX business objectives.
We live in the age of the algorithm, and thanks to sophisticated algorithms, pervasiveness of data, GPUs and accelerators, and of course the infinite scalability of cloud computing, you've predicted that by 2019, just a few months away, 40% of digital transformation initiatives will use AI services, and that by 2021, 75% of commercial enterprise apps will use AI. That's a pretty dramatic uptake for this technology. So Ritu, what should CIOs, CTOs, and other IT executives do right now to start preparing for this landmark shift in the way that IT will be providing its services?
Yeah, it's a great question, Guy. We get this question from everyone. So our advice to the leading executives, CIOs, CTOs, and all is to have, establish a change management organization to proactively address any human concerns, and retaliation is a strong word, but it's real, to embrace AI-infused infrastructure or technologies to help them gain and meet their business objectives. Look for ways for retooling their IT staff to support more strategic initiatives and also fill in the skills gap. They could look for augmenting their in-house staff with external consultants who have already done this and have some experience. They should look into a lot of public cloud service providers. I just gave the example of Microsoft Azure. They help customers jumpstart their adoption of AI. They make it very easy to use with some pre-installed, pre-configured templates. So I would suggest that they should start their journey by embracing public cloud services, and then look for evolving an approach to adopt AI technologies and AI-enabled infrastructure. As a first step, they could use it for predictive analytics, and once they have, gained some valuable insights, then they can slowly phase in the automation once the trustworthiness and the quality of data is established, and their comfort level is also kind of, improved.
At IDC, you conducted a survey and found that IT automation is the top use case for AI and machine learning, with 65% of your respondents saying they currently use AI and machine learning for IT automation. Ritu, what do you think makes AI and machine learning so compelling for IT automation as opposed to some of the other use cases like workforce management or CRM or supply chain and logistics?
Yeah. In fact, we were a little bit surprised. We were thinking that, it's mainly used in the front office functions. But, when you kind of sit through and think through as to why this is so important, because remember I just talked about that how, for the digital transformation, the business objective is to improve operational efficiencies. And if you think about, there's a significant amount of operational inefficiencies in the IT organization right now. So when we looked into ask there's this, and in addition to that, there's skills gap. There folks are, trying to figure out how to use this AI algorithms and kind of bring efficiency in delivering the need or the IT needs to support the business objectives. So, when we kind of thought through, it's basically because if you start from the back office functions, there are already a lot of computer-to-computer interactions in the IT and finance and accounting and the back office function, especially where the IT automation can help. So there's much more easier buy-in. I'm not saying that the front office functions like CRM, supply chain, and all cannot benefit, but the reason folks are starting from the back office is because it's easier. The return on operational efficiencies is crucial to make even the front office functions succeed and gain value out of the AI algorithm.
In that same survey that IDC conducted, you found that improving operational efficiencies was the #1 business objective for AI and machine learning projects. improving operational efficiencies was even more important to your survey respondents than increasing existing product revenue, acquiring new customers, or reducing costs. What do you think makes artificial intelligence and machine learning so compelling as a tool for improving operational efficiencies?
Yeah. As I was just answering the previous question, there's a close tie-up to the two situations. And if you look into it, when we ask them that what are your, big challenges in adopting AI, skills shortage was rated to be one of the top, challenge. And organizations have tight budgets. The need to invest in innovation versus investing in operational, OpEx spend. And any routine, repetitive task can easily be automated. If you think about organizations are spending significant amount to just keep the money to keep the lights on. Just let's take the example of the infrastructure. There's a lot of telemetry data. There's logs, configuration stats available, where AI ML algorithms can be easily used. For example, IT organizations can reduce or eliminate call centers by using ML to process and interpret incoming help desk calls, routed to the right person for problem resolution within a single call. They can, look for using machine learning algorithms to optimize software deployment strategies and reduce the failure rate. So these are very simple examples. There's not a lot of extra overhead or intelligence that is needed. And, manually, it's impossible for folks to kind of go through heaps of log files and predict server failures or outages. So it becomes very, very, simple. There's a lot of, there's not a lot of dispute about the guidance or the results that we get from the ML algorithm usage. So it's a simple starter, easy to use, with the trustworthiness here, unlike the other examples that we talk about where there could be some ethical biases, concerns, and stuff. And this, improvement in operational efficiency is the number one place where the ML algorithm can be used. And in the IT automation, it plays a very, very direct correlation with, IT automation being the number one case, and with the business objective of DX being operational efficiency, and how the two tie together to support that objective.
Ritu, do you think there's any specific industries that stand to benefit the most from deploying artificial intelligence and machine learning for IT automation?
Actually, if you think it benefits all the industries, but if you have to think, a few examples, retail and healthcare jump a little bit because, these are the places where a lot of edge processing will be key. For example, in the case of retail, on the point of sale areas, AI can be used to actually do automated out of stock detection on the aisles. And in the healthcare, AI algorithms could be used to route, inquiries to the right physicians, or they could be virtual, radiologist checks done. And in all these edge locations, you don't have the IT staff. You don't have that much of bandwidth of IT hand-holding certain things. And in those cases, usage of AI algorithms to scale to support the need is all the more highlighted. So, but at a meta level, it will help across all different industries.
IDC interacts with thousands of organizations around the world. Can you share with us an example organization or two that made a successful digital transformation thanks to artificial intelligence?
Yeah. I mean, if I have to take an example, payment services, the company PayPal, they're using GPU accelerated deep learning algorithms for fraud detection. There's another company, consulting firm Accenture, R&D arm and other businesses, they're using to detect internet security threats. Drive.ai is using DL algorithms and preparing to offer a self-driving car service for public use very soon. So it spans different industries, and currently we see most of the people are using it in the fraud detection or large scale, web scale examples, the internet security threats. But the examples are growing rapidly.
If I'm a CIO, CTO, or other IT executive, what are the critical KPIs or success metrics I should focus on at different stages of the digital transformation journey?
Yeah, that's again a very good question, Guy. I mean, this is something that we think in and out with all our interactions with the C-level executives. IT transformation is integral. Without the IT transformation, without the improvement in operational efficiencies and IT automation, there is no way that the digital transformation can succeed. So when we think about, in the past, most of the IT organizations just focused on total cost of ownership or cost metrics or, ROI investments. But today, people are looking into a little bit more business specific KPIs. They're looking into to make the judgment call that how much of IT spend versus plan on newer business initiatives, how much of that is used to grow the business, transform the business. They're using the metrics to see percentage of their spend that is spent on customer-facing initiatives. They are tracking their customer satisfaction scores for business-facing initiatives. And, it's all about looking from a business eye than the traditional IT efficiency metrics. So there's a huge transformation happening in terms of the KPIs. One very interesting thing that we see more and more executives doing these days is that, there was a lot of projects that were funded by IT, and there was no direct linkage of how these IT projects line up with the business objectives. So now there is a concept of program governance where every IT initiative is linked to a business objective, and there are tools which are supporting this tie-up. So that's another very upcoming metric that a lot of customers are trying to tap into.
What do you think are some of the biggest misconceptions in IT departments about artificial intelligence and machine learning?
Yeah, this is interesting, because when we talk to some folks, they think, it's become like a buzzword, right? Everybody thinks that people use this term and for everything very loosely. So it's become like AI is a silver bullet and that will solve everything. So there are some players who actually believe that, and there are some players who actually are the naysayers, and they think that it's too premature, it cannot be used, there are ethical biases, there's skill shortage. So I would say that that it being a silver bullet is the biggest misconception, and also that it's too early, and I have the time and the bandwidth to get onto this. And the reason I say this is that because the rate at which we kind of say that this is a slow motion explosion, the way it is kind of evolving every day, the innovations are happening at a rapid pace. So they don't really have the time. They really have to kind of get onto it and embrace it.
You've stated that the top 3 challenges for adopting intelligent infrastructure are data volume and quality, advanced data management, and the skills gap. Can you please elaborate a bit on how leading organizations are addressing these challenges today?
Yeah, sure. So if you think, poor data quality has a direct correlation to biased and inaccurate model build out, and ensuring data quality with large volumes of dynamic, diverse, distributed data sets is very difficult, as it is hard for developers to know, predict, and code for all the appropriate checks and validations. In the past, people just had structured data sets. They had it within their 4 boundaries and within the data center. The diversity of the data wasn't there, and there was not a lot of unknown factor. But today, the data is distributed, it's dynamic, it's of varied, sources, internal and external, and it's humanly impossible for coders to develop all the checks and validation. And to address these challenges, enterprises desire an autonomous data quality and a validation solution. So such solution could automatically learn data's expected behavior, create thousands of data validation checks on the fly without the need for coding. You can update and maintain the checks over time and eliminate both anticipated and unanticipated data quality errors. so that you can make the data more trustable and usable. So when we talk about, that enterprises have, what are their top three challenges, and data volume and quality was important, but also skills gap. There are, talents, meaning both AI engineers and data scientists. They'll be needed to support the growing segment of AI-dependent digital transformation initiatives. But when you think about it, the IT organizations are grappling with the shortage of these professionals. For example, it's not just also having enough of, the data scientists or data engineers, but even the data scientists, they haven't done something like this. Leave aside that they are fewer in number, they haven't done something like this, and they have a high learning curve in building and optimizing and training models skill set a lot of data scientists don't have. They really need to, improve their productivity. And some of these, if you look into the life cycle of build out of an AI model, training phase is very iterative. It can take, millions of hours, days, weeks, and the tool set supporting that requirement is not there. There are some organizations who are helping out with that. So, if suppose a training stage is happening and it failed in the middle of the process, you cannot sit and wait for the entire process to complete over 36 hours and then revisit it. So people need to have an instant, support of something has failed, and they can stop there and restart it. So those tools are evolving, and essentially, as I'm talking about this, you'll notice that AI itself is coming to the rescue of solving these, challenges that they are having. It's a interdependent kind of a relationship. They're leading to AI problems because they don't have the skill set, or the data is, distributed and dynamic. But then again, they have to use AI to solve those problems, and it becomes a very, very integrated problem. That's how folks are. There's no way. They have to embrace the AI and continue to use it to solve the challenges and scale.
Ritu, if you can offer one piece of advice to CIOs, CTOs, and other IT executives that are thinking about taking the plunge with AI for IT automation, what would it be? Embrace it.
It's not optional. As I was just saying at the start of the conversation, that there are companies who are thinking in the IT industry that it is, a magic bullet, or we have to stop and wait. Companies that are not embracing strategic innovation with artificial intelligence and analytics, they'll fall behind and they'll lose their competitive advantage. So embrace it, set up your change management organization, retool your people, augment it with some external help, but embrace it fully and run with it.
Prudent advice. All right. Looks like that's all the time we have on this episode of Intelligent Automation Radio. Ritu, thank you so much for joining us today and providing some unique insights about the role of AI in IT automation. It's been a real pleasure having you as our guest.
Same here, likewise. Thank you, guys. Such a pleasure to share the insights that we gather from the broad industry, and look forward to future collaboration. Thank you.
Ritu Jyoti, Program Vice President at IDC. Thank you for listening, everyone. And remember, don't hesitate, automate. Thank you so much for listening today. Please subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, or anywhere else you listen to podcasts. We publish new shows regularly, and you won't want to miss one. And please remember to give us a rating. It helps others find the show. Intelligent Automation Radio is sponsored by Ayehu, the leader in intelligent automation solutions for IT and cybersecurity. You can get more information about Ayehu by visiting our website at ayehu.com. That's AYEHU.com. Ayehu, creating the successful path to the self-driving enterprise.